Hello again, Kay Lowry, and I am really pumped for our lesson today. We're going to be doing Primo Theory 4, pages 13, 14, and 15. And today we're going to be talking about the eighth note and its various combinations. So what you will need for today's lesson are some rhythm type instruments. Now in my studio, I have rhythm instruments that I use to play with kids, and they are tambourines and drums and little cymbals and maracas. So if you have anything like that at your house, it would be great. If you don't, ask your parents if you can use just some extra things from the kitchen, like you know how I love rhythm cups. So find some cups that you could play with. Plastic cups. Find some small pie plates and maybe some spoons that your parents would let you have so that you can make kind of a tinkling sound. And then if you get a chance and you can make a shaker, there are so many things that you can do. You can get a recyclable plastic container and put rice in it or beans. But while I have hopefully spurred your imagination, now's the time to pause your video, collect all your rhythm instruments, and join me back here. All right, hope you have something to play with because we are going to have some fun. But first, we need to look at your Primo Theory book, page 13. And let's take a look as I share my screen at what's on page 13. Hopefully this is a review for you, and let's take a look and get this out of the way here. Just a second. Get this out of the way. So we're going to take a look at this Primo Theory, page 13. And here we have a picture of an eighth note that has a flag to the right. Flags always point to the right. And it can be very confusing sometimes. So you already know how to draw a note head and a stem. So it'd be great if you pause the video now and practiced with your pencil drawing some eighth notes here. Some that have the stem up and the flag to the right, and some that start high, stem on the left, flag pointing on the right. Just copy what you see. Pause the video and take a few seconds to practice drawing. All right, now that we're back together, this part will be easy. You've seen this before. Two eighth notes connected together are connected by what we call a beam. That's what this looks like, and in school they often call this TT. So take time just for a second to draw some eighth notes with a beam. Make the stems pointing up and connected with the stem on the right, and also make those note heads higher, stem on the left, and connected with the beam. Here's an interesting fact. Eighth notes are usually joined together in groups of two. That's what it looks like with the beam. Or four. That's different. Sometimes we see it this way, sometimes we see it this way. Two eighth notes with a flag is the same as two eighth notes joined with a beam. Here we have two groups of two, same as one group of four. Just looks a little different. Here's some common eighth note groupings. So if you have two eighth notes joined by a beam, that equals 1/4 note, 1 beat. 4 eighth notes that are all joined together equal a 1/2 note, 2 beats. Now it is your turn to take a look at the bottom section here, section 1. So grab your pencil and write the correct number of beats for each group of notes. The first one is done for you. So pause the video, complete what the number of beats is in the blank, meet me back here, and I will give you the answers. All right, here we go. Are you ready to check your work? This first example, 2/8 notes with a beam equals the number 1, 1 beat. 4/8 notes beamed together equal 2 beats. Here we have ti-ti-ta, ti-ti. That equals 3 beats. This is an interesting rhythm. We have a quarter note followed by an 1/8 note on either side. If you just think about it, here's 1 beat, and these two add up to another beat. So the answer here is 2. 4/8 notes with flags equal 2 beats. 2 flagged notes, 2 beamed notes, still 2 beats. Half note 2/8 equals 3 beats. Here's a group of 4/8 notes and another group of 4/8 notes. I'm sure you already guessed this one. It's 4 beats. And at the bottom here, we have half note dot 2/8 2/8. That equals 5 beats. Hopefully you got all of that correct. Let's take a look now at page 14. Now, page 14 is where we're going to have some fun with counting 1/8 notes. I'm going to get this way up here. So in my studio, we usually count 1/8 notes, 2/8, 2/8, 2/8, 2/8. That's the easiest way to count them when they're in groups of 2. But in this book and in other places in your music life, you will need to know how to count each beat. And so here's an example for you. It says 1 and, 2 and, 3 and, 4 and. So one way I like to practice that is to put, let's say, 2 cups together, and maybe my left hand might be the number and my right hand might be the word and. So grab your 2 cups or whatever you want to tap with, and let's practice this example right here, and let's say the words that are underneath these notes. Ready? Begin. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. They're all even and nicely spaced. Let's come down here and just do this together. And as we go along, I'm going to change instruments, and you can pause the video anytime you want and pick a different instrument to play at your house. Let's start with section 2, this very first rhythm in 2/4 time. It looks a lot like the one we just did, but now we only have 2 beats in each measure. I'm still going to use my cups. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. That's right. Let's go across. By the way, I'm ignoring all the repeat signs for now. You can do it and repeat it if you like. Let's go across here. Now we have to be careful when we get to the quarter notes. We have to still say the 1 and 2 and, but we're only going to play quarter notes. I'll show you. You follow along with me. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Hope that wasn't too tricky for you. Let's go down to the next line and do this rhythm in 2/4 time. 1 and 2 and here we go. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Nice. And just to be different and make it maybe even more simpler, let's go over here with just 1 cup and count this rhythm. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Hope that has been super simple. Now, I feel the need to be a little creative with my sound, so I'm going to grab my maracas this time and go down to rhythms in 3/4 time. Here we're going to count and label the downbeats, is what we call them, when there's 2 eighth notes together in a group. The first one is always called the downbeat, and that's the one that you put the number with. The one that's the second one is the offbeat, and we always put the and with it. So let's go ahead. I'm going to shake both of these at the same time, and we'll count this. 1 and 2 and 3 and ready, here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Easy enough? Let's go on to the next one across the way. Ready, and now here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. So notice the difference between the first one that we did, and we're still just speaking the same syllables, but we're not always playing it in the same way because we're following what the notes say to do. Now I'm going to pick up my rhythm sticks, and right here all I have in my lap is just a step stool that I'm going to drum on. And we will do the second line of 3/4 rhythms. Ready, set, play. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. And now we'll go across the way here to another 3/4 selection. 1 and ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Right, and then we have to kind of peek right here into this last one. I am not quite sure why we can't take a better look at it. I'm going to have to look at it in my book the old-fashioned way. So we'll take a look at this bottom line. I'm on page 14, the bottom line, and I'm going to use one stick and count 1 and 2 and 3 and all the way across. 1 and ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. All right. Now the next one, the very last one on that page. 1 and ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. I hope that was fun and easy. You can go back and play these again with different instruments, with shakers, with pipe hands, whatever you like. Now the next page is in 4/4 time. This is also called common time, and often we have piano pieces that are in 4/4 time. So just to be fun, I'm going to use my cymbal to play the 4/4 selections. Let's start with the very top line. 1 and 2 and 3, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Yeah, it's really pretty easy. I hope you're speaking this out loud because it really is going to help you. And it's easy to follow along. Let's do line 2. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Cool. Let's do line 3. 1, 2, ready, play. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Nice. Let's do the last line. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, there you go. So if you didn't feel confident, rewind the video and practice that a little bit. Now, to be honest, when I'm playing things with a computer, sometimes the person on the video is a lot softer than when I'm playing it. So if you rewind it, you might want to play softly. You might want to turn the video up as loud as possible, even put it on a speaker. Experiment with ways that you can still practice it and hear the video, but also hear yourself. Now, drawing eighth notes with flags, we already practiced this a little bit, but now let's take it to the next level by practicing it really carefully, making sure that we don't have the flag on the wrong side, and making sure that we just flip it down. So we don't want it tiny, small. We don't want it tiny, long. We don't want it the wrong shape. And again, it doesn't have to be fancy, all shaded like the computer does it. It just needs to be flipped up or down. So take a look at section 3 and pause the video, draw a stem and a flag on each note head to create eighth notes. All right, last thing in this lesson before we get to composing, and that is section 4. Easy. Draw an X over each eighth note that has an incorrectly placed flag. All right, before we leave this page, I want you to notice, if you haven't already, that when we practiced all these rhythms, all the rhythms were drawn in the first space, just to make it simple. They didn't put them all over the staff, and right over here, they didn't even put a treble or bass clef, because these were just rhythms. So today, I am going to challenge you to write a rhythm composition using eighth notes and quarter notes. So choose 2/4 or 3/4 or 4/4. Here's a secret. Look in your book at the pages that we just did. And even if you like one measure, it's okay to copy that onto your composition. You know, the best artists and musicians actually take a tiny piece of something that they admire and they copy it onto something that they want to write. Now, I wouldn't ever ask you to copy the whole thing and pretend like it was your work. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying it's perfectly fine to take a measure or a little part of a rhythm that you like, put it in your composition and add to it. Add your own idea to it. Make sure that whatever time signature you choose, you stay with that and you have this correct number of beats. And then bring your composition to me. Maybe we'll make a drum circle out of it at our next lesson. Bye for now. Have fun with your rhythm composing.